Hi everybody. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about what to do and what it means if you get the message that we've taken targeted action on unnatural links pointing to your site. It's an interesting message, and there's a little bit of nuance to this video, so I want to give you some background and maybe a little bit of historical context. Google's primary purpose, the web spam team's primary purpose, is to make sure that users get the best search results and that we protect users from having a bad search experience. So first and foremost, we're thinking about how do we return the best quality search results? How do we make sure that we not return spam? So for many, many years, of course we try to do as much as we can algorithmically. We've always been very upfront about that. But when an algorithm fails and we're taking manual action, for many, many years, what we would do is more or less take action on an entire site if it looked like there was a pretty good history of link spam or a pretty bad history of link spam. So something that went on for a long time, something that looked deliberate, something that was widespread or looked concerted, and the sorts of link spam you can imagine might be anything from paid links to blog comment spam to spamming forums to spamming guest books, excessive link exchanges. You know, there's a lot of ways that people try to get links. And when we saw a lot of that going on and it affected our opinion of the entire site, then you would get a slightly different message that would also say unnatural links to your site. Over time, we've gotten more granular and our approaches have become more sophisticated, and so as a result, if we think perhaps that your site overall is good, but there might be some bad links, not all bad links, but a portion bad links, then we might be taking targeted action on just those links. And that can be bad links or links that you might not think of as typically bad. So let me sort of give you a few examples of that. The same sorts of things that you would do for action against the entire site, so paid links, blog, forum, guestbook spam, but also you can imagine widget bait, right? If your primary way of trying to get links was, I'm going to produce a widget, and that widget had keyword-rich anchor text that pointed to a different domain, and maybe the user didn't even know that they were getting that as part of their web counter. They would be linking to something saying mesothelioma, all those kinds of things. Those are the sorts of links that we don't want to count. In addition, you know, we see a lot of people who they just want content, and so they're willing to go grab content from some low-quality article bank type site. They just want something that's, you know, a few hundred words, 300 words, 500 words, whatever. So the site itself might be good. Maybe you have a lawyer, you know, and most of the site is good, but some directory he's just thrown a bunch of, you know, article marketing type articles in there, or he's promoting one particular URL, you know, using these article marketing or syndication, article bank type sites, or, you know, somebody who's doing health insurance or car insurance or whatever, and they're using some widget, and then that link, that anchor text is very keyword rich. So that might be an instance when we might not take action on the entire site, so the site itself might still rank normally, but we might take action on some of those anchors. And so you might not be able to rank for the phrases that you expected to be able to rank for. Now, the other reason why you might get this could be possibly because you weren't doing link spam per se, but for example, suppose someone hacked someone else's site and they pointed anchor text toward your site. So maybe you were hacked, or maybe they were trying to point towards some different directory on your site. Another one that we've seen is, you know, suppose you're a newspaper and you've written something relatively nice about somebody, and then it turns out later that he's embezzled or he's been involved with a real estate scam, or for whatever reason, he's using a reputation management firm. So the reputation management firm might be trying to push up the positive articles on a newspaper or, you know, on a news website, something like that. So our primary purpose has been to protect users. We haven't been worried as much with, okay, is this a link that was reputation management and so someone else was trying to push this article up, or was this someone who was doing, you know, paid link spam or something like that? We've just said, okay, we don't want these specific links to count. So it hasn't been the case that we've necessarily put it in terms of, okay, we think that these are bad links, or we think that these are links that are, you know, not intentional or not intended to push you up higher on your own. Maybe it's just some other third party trying to push things. Either way, we're not trusting these links. So that's a little bit about why you might get that message. So now the question is what to do about it. So the most simple thing to do is download your links Google now allows you to sort by most recent links, so certainly that's the place where I would start. If you get this message and it's something that just happened, and we're only sending this to a very small number of sites, so at least right now, less than 10 sites a day are getting this sort of message. But if you do get this message, maybe that's a good time to say, okay, what kind of links have I been getting recently? Was I, accidentally spamming somebody? Was my SEO trying to do some widget bait or something like that to get links? And if that's the case, try to get those links taken down. If you've posted articles or whatever, try to get those articles taken down. A couple things that are new, and a lot of what I've been talking about have been covered in a relatively recent blog post, and we'll have a link to that from this video. But there are a couple things that are new since that blog post. So the first one is, we're trying to work harder to actually show you an example of the links that we're not trusting anymore. So a lot of people were frustrated because they're like, okay, you say you're taking targeted action on links to my site, but I don't know which links they are, so I don't know where to start looking. And that was fair feedback, and we appreciated that. So we've been trying to work on a way whereby when we say we don't trust some links, we're going to try to show you 1, 2, maybe 3 examples of what the sort of links are that we don't trust, and that will help to guide you in the right direction to take those links down. First and foremost, you should be trying to get those links down, take the pages down that have those links, talk to different webmasters and say, hey, could you remove this widget or whatever it is. I would very much like to see people do a prolonged, sustained effort on that. But if you've contacted webmasters multiple times, you're not able to get in touch with them, you can't get them to reply, and no matter what, you just can't get that link quite pulled down, then you can use the second thing that's relatively new. And that is the Disavow Links tool that we just launched not that long ago. So what does this mean? A Disavow Links tool will have a link with more information about disavow, but I'll give you a very high-level summary. What it allows you to do is tell Google, I would like you to ignore these links. So you have a list of links, maybe from this URL, from this URL. You can even say from this entire domain. Don't trust any links from this domain to my site. And so if Google has been taking action on your site because there are some links, not all links, but some links that we don't want to trust, hopefully you'll be able to see a few examples, and then based on that you can go and look through your downloaded links and sort of figure out what the other links are like that, and then get as many of them pulled down. And then the ones that you can't get pulled down, you can go ahead and use the Disavow Links tool and say, okay, I've tried my best, I can't get them pulled down, here are the links that I'd like Google to ignore. And that's the sort of thing that should help with this particular action. And then when you do a reconsideration request, just make sure to document that as well as possible, how you think the links got there, what the situation was, what you've done to clean it up. If you have disavowed some links, it doesn't hurt to mention that too, just to make sure that people have the context. But that hopefully gives you a little bit of background on the fact that Google used to take action at a more coarse level, at the domain level. As we've gotten more sophisticated, we're more likely to say perhaps individual links don't count. And that doesn't have to be a bad thing. If a reputation management firm is pointing to one article on your site, that's not the end of the world. But if it's something that you're concerned about, or that you're worried about, or you've seen some examples that Google have been giving that look like anything from hacked sites to widget bait to paid links or whatever, then it is worth trying to get those links pulled down. And then failing that, investigate the Disavow tool and see whether it will work for you. Hope that helps.